So here's another revolutionary history card, and we're gonna get into a little series for the revolutionary category for right now. And so now let's talk about the next step England took to piss off the American colonies even more. This act happened after the Boston Tea Party and is the Intolerable or Coercive Acts from Story of America cards, the revolutionary category. The Intolerable Acts, sometimes referred to as the Insufferable Acts or Coercive Acts, were a series of 5 punitive laws passed by the British Parliament in 1774 after the Boston Tea Party. The laws aimed to punish Massachusetts colonists for their defiance in the Tea Party protests of the Tea Act, a tax measure erected by Parliament in May 1773. In Great Britain, these laws were referred to as the Coercive Acts. They were a key development leading to the outbreak of the American Revolutionary War in April 1775. In spring of 1774, Great Britain angered the rebellious American colonists, especially Massachusetts, by passing 5 parliamentary acts aimed at punishing them for the Boston Tea Party. On December 6, 1773, a group of Boston merchants, masquerading as Indians, had dumped 3 shiploads of tea into the Boston harbor to protest the new British tax on tea and the establishment of a tea monopoly by the East India Company. The merchants feared that unless they took action, other monopolies would soon follow. The British Parliament, on the other hand, felt it must punish the colonists and reassert its dominance over them. The few of the new British acts which became known in the colonies as coercive or Intolerable Acts was the British Post Bill, March 25, 1774, which closed the Boston harbor to all shipping from June 1st until the colonists repaid all losses suffered during the Tea Party. 2 months later, on May 20th, Parliament passed 3 more measures to show the colonists how powerless they were. The Massachusetts Governing Act practically revoked the colonists' center by declaring that members of the local council were to be appointed by the king, not elected by the people, as the royal governor, who was appointed by the king, would henceforth appoint authority general judges and justices of peace, and finally all town meetings could be held only with the prior written consent of the royal governor. The Administration of Justice Act provided that any British officers accused of capital offenses in America could be tried in England. The Quebec Act, which granted Catholics religious tolerance, appeared to the colonists as a threat to their Protestant religion. The 5th measure, passed on June 2nd, was a new Quartering Act that ordered all colonists to open their homes to British troops whenever local barracks were inadequate to house them. Following the passage of these Intolerable Acts, King George III of England wrote to his Prime Minister, Lord North, "The die is now cast. The colonists must either submit or triumph." As it turned out, the acts quickly backfired, for the colonists were enraged when citizens in Boston learned of the Post Bill. They issued a plea of support, and other colonists responded with economic sanctions against England and called for First Continental Congress. The British had pushed the colonists too far, and they were now one step closer to starting the revolution. Many colonists saw the Intolerable Acts as a violation of their continental rights, their natural rights, and their colonial chapters. They, therefore, viewed the acts as a threat to the liberties of all of British America, not just Massachusetts. Richard Henry Lee of Virginia, for example, described the acts as a most wicked system for destroying the liberty of America. The citizens of Boston not only viewed this as an act of unnecessary and cruel punishment, but the Intolerable Acts drew hatred towards Britain even further. As a result of the Intolerable Acts, even more colonists turned against British rule. Great Britain hoped that the Intolerable Acts would isolate radicals in Massachusetts and cause American colonists to concede the authority of Parliament over their elected assemblies. It was a calculated risk that backfired, due to the harshness of some of the acts having made it difficult for moderates in the colonies to speak in favor of Parliament, but the acts only served to distance the colonies from the Crown, create sympathy of Massachusetts, and encourage colonists from the otherwise diverse colonies to form communities of correspondence, which set the grades to the First Continental Congress. The Continental Congress created the Continental Association, an agreement to boycott British goods. Additionally, it was declared that if the Intolerable Acts were not reversed after a year, goods were to stop being exported to Great Britain as well. The Congress also pledged to support Massachusetts in case of attack, which meant that all the colonies would become involved with the American Revolutionary War began at Lexington and Concord. And that's the history of the Intolerable or Coercive Acts from Story of America cards. Yeah, this is what happened. One of the many reasons how the American Revolution started. We know how it started, so forth, with the Boston Tea Party too. But yep, that's it. And I'll see you next time. Bye.